good, Howard? William Beavers.
Here.
Kara George.
Here.
David Simmons.
Present.
Margaret Wilson.
Here.
Ray Baker.
Yes.
Is anybody here from Ray?
That's it.
John Farquhar.
Yep.
John Gusty. Jim McCready.
Here.
Mark Souza.
Here.
Peter Witrovsky asked for an excusal. David Brennan. Mark Hodgkins.
Here.
Ken Kurt asked for an excusal. Thomas Smith.
Here.
Carl Turner. Ken Chakowski may be joining us later, but is not here at the moment. Andrew Iannotti is excused, he's working. Thomas Pasquarelli.
Here.
Michael Schwartz.
Yes, here.
Anthony Agresta is working, asked for an excuse. Sidney Chase.
Here.
Timothy Foster asked for an excuse. Victor Jones.
Here.
Elizabeth McGowan, I'm here. Damon West.
Here.
Dan Bixby.
Here.
Owen Hahn.
Won't be here.
Will not. Howard Huth.
Yep.
Judith Tiffany asked for an excuse. And Peter Nichols. We have a quorum, sir.
Everybody should have received the minutes. They were a little late, but if anyone's got any questions, we'll be happy to answer. If not, any additions, deletions, and if none of those, then
Motion to
we'll take a
accept.
motion to
Second.
Whoa, slow down. Who dat? Second? Okay.
All in favor? Aye. Right. I don't think we have any guests. No guests today. Correspondence, obviously, will be in this stuff here. I have no report, and we'll move right on to secretary's report.
Wanted to make sure that everyone is aware of the legislation that has been passed, signed by the governor and gone back with chapter amendments to the legislation about development of a comprehensive county emergency medical services plan. The idea of this legislation was that counties must develop modern, data-informed, and community-centered plans to ensure timely, reliable, and clinically excellent pre-hospital care. The planning process begins with the fundamental question: when someone calls 911 for an ambulance, who responds and what happens if they cannot? From this point, the complete systems review must examine dispatch protocols, coverage areas, resource reliability, financial sustainability, medical oversight and staffing structures, and public expectations. Failure to conduct a thorough analysis risks perpetuating fragmented services, chronic underperformance, and community health disparities. Creating a meaningful EMS system plan demands inclusive engagement of all stakeholders: government officials, existing EMS agencies, dispatch centers, medical directors, hospital partners, public health officials, other first responders, and the public. Each brings a critical insight into current challenges and future needs. The process must be transparent, collaborative, and foster shared accountability for outcomes. Importantly, the plan must be dynamic, not a one-time report, but a living document that evolves with changes in demand, population, regulations, and technology. It should incorporate measurable performance benchmarks across clinical care, operations, finance, and patient experience. It must also recognize the unique attributes of each county's EMS landscape and align with state guidance and best practices. So the reason I bring this up is that it was signed by the governor late last year, like right at the deadline where they say that either it makes it or it doesn't. And the chapter amendments have already been introduced to the legislature. REMSCO will be talking about this again in February, but once everything goes through with the chapter amendments, they have said that they're going to give each count, they're giving us 6 months to get this done.
Yeah, that's a lot to do in 6 months.
I
That's
agree, they
people
may
involved.
extend the ramp on it, but I want to make sure that everybody's carrying this back to their county people so that they're aware of it. There may be a kind of template coming out from REMSCO to help you organize it, but that's kind of what I read from was the draft, but it's not released yet. But if you want to, the bills were Senate 7501A and Assembly 8086A. And this is just more of an FYI, more to come, but I think I sat down with Victor and Damon just to make sure they were aware of it this week. That happens to be my county. But every county should be, aware of it.
I brought up to ours, well, when I first kind of heard about it, so this is gonna be happening, you guys should be looking at it, and if it passes, I mean, we need to get to it, but, I have a lot of walls in the way, too many volunteer agencies and whatnot.
Right, and I think it's been pretty clear that you can't just say that having a countywide system or a countywide system or a countywide system fixes everything.
It doesn't.
It doesn't, and you have to figure out how to nurture all types of EMS that are in your county, because we need every EMS provider we've got out there working to serve our constituents.
Is that specific as to who at the county level is in charge of that?
Why don't
you
We'll find
say
out
that?
today.
I'll let you know at 2:30, so.
Yeah. What page, that was on the second page, right,
Yeah,
Damon?
yeah. 12, 13, 14.
12,
something like
yeah.
that.
12,
I know
13,
we
14.
talked about it at the EMS Coordinators Association, and they talked about giving us like a template for.
Right, but the template is not like, go check this box, check
Right,
that box.
right, right, but it's a
foundational
template to show you
assessment.
what you need.
Foundational assessment questions, service area analysis, community expectations and service reliability, system activity and demand metrics, operational capacity and performance. I mean, it goes on and on and on and on. But I think one of the major outcomes in this will be that at least municipalities will begin to understand what is EMS. I mean, I've talked to some legislators that say, I pick up the phone and ambulance calls. What do you mean? I pick up the phone and ambulance calls. I call 911 and ambulance calls. And that is the extent of their understanding of EMS. Let the record show that Ken joined us.
So I guess I'd like to apologize, because somehow this is my fault.
Thanks, Howard.
Most of the time it is.
No, actually, I think it's a good way
So,
forward.
you remember a few years ago when I was like, hey, I kind of have an in with the comptroller's office and we're trying to get some stuff done? And then
Yeah.
and Tom DiNapoli's office put out that statement about counties and EMS. That's where this rooted from. I'm glad it came out, because I'm also glad my name didn't end up on it. I have enough targets. But I'm glad that it's here, because I feel like for so long I've listened to you folks, the EMS coordinators for the counties, and you feel like, you have all the responsibility but none of the authority. I'm not quite sure if this necessarily changes much in that area, but at least it gives you a directive from the governor's office that says you have to do something. So if nothing else, it does what Beth just said, which is the municipalities are now actually aware that, your ambulance corps turns a crew 40% of the time. It's a start.
Which most of them aren't gonna give a shit.
Right. As long as the one rides in the parade, we're good. I get it, I'm
As long
just,
as I get voted in next year, that's all.
right, during election years, Oh, we've helped to pay for a new ambulance, okay. I know.
So, every county but Montgomery has got a county rep here today, I believe. So please make sure that your county EMS coordinators, county coordinators are aware of this and have heard the legislation, read it. I will be very aware of when the chapter amendments go through and try to find out the timeline as soon as that moves through the legislature.
Any word whether or not there's gonna be funding provided for this?
Oh, hell no.
No.
Figured I'd ask.
So at the last EMS Coordinators Association meeting, Brian Greenberg spoke to us about this, and some of it is he wants to know what each county's about also. And, the way I understand, each county was gonna go back and write like a short thing for Ryan to understand each county.
So come out and make a visit then.
You know, I
Get out of Albany.
You go, that's the Monday meeting before
I mean, he does that
REMSCO?
a fair amount.
yes, a lot of times it's Zoom, or like we met, the last one was at the, Vital Signs meeting.
So you attend that?
I attend
You
that. We also do,
I really clipped those
we also
in
do, like monthly meetings for, they split it up in regions that way.
Okay.
Read the money piece on this. I don't know if it's ever gonna happen, but the reason why I started with the comptroller's office and why they were able to actually, why they wanted to go further on this was because it was easy for them to trace money and call it an audit or a report. So what they did was basically said, so where's the county funding going? And chase dollars that went towards EMS in a county area. So I think eventually, once this stuff comes back, I think the idea is to basically look at the finances of this and go, you know, why in some areas are 3 different municipalities paying for 4 different services or not paying for services, or why is it not split more fairly? So I think we'll all be retired before it actually happens, but I think at least it's good conversation and we're moving in the right direction.
I think the other thing it allows our legislative partners to do is say, hey, there needs to be money for this.
Right. The other
I
thing,
mean,
and
they-
I by no means speak for the comptroller's office, but the other thing that was in conversation when we started this was Comptroller DiNapoli was interested in looking at this because he's, as much as every elected official is a political person, he's kind of apolitical in the sense that his office is really just about looking at how things work and going, that's messed up, how do we fix that? So it was a good angle for him, and I feel like this may not have the teeth that we all wish it did, but at least it's a move in the right direction. And you know, if you can blame someone else when you go to your local government and be like, the governor's office is making me do this, I gotta figure this out, I think it gives us a little bit of leverage to at least open a conversation, and instead of just having you go and go, hey, I'm trying to do this, what's going on? And they're like, well, don't worry about it, we're fine. So, I don't know, hopefully we get some traction off of it. And I think later, you're gonna find that there's a funding piece that comes with it.
I think funding is gonna be important in definitions of how that funding
Yep.
needs to be used is important.
Yep.
We already see some of these grants coming through, right? And what's the county doing? They're taking the whole thing and not helping anyone else that's part of the plan already to whether it's create their own systems or whatever else, and they're not looking at the big picture.
And I'm sure the state EMS office has an interest in this because so far, there has not been a push from any state EMS office leadership to really look at finances to see how it filters down and where the money's going. And it's been more about, can you turn an ambulance, which is great, but I think this might change that discussion.
I think this also helps to move people's mindset from, well, can I get an ambulance, to what's the cost of readiness?
Sure.
That's my report.
I don't think he answered Sid's question, though.
Oh. I don't know where to put it now. It's
The long and short of it, the county has to designate someone to be the lead. So like today, we approach our parent committee at the county board level to ask permission to be the lead, so hopefully my counterpart isn't the one that's doing it.
Right. I know that the way it was originally intended was it's the county executive.
Such process shall be convened by the County Emergency Medical Services Coordinator, designee of the County Office of Emergency Management, or other designees elected by the county.
There you go.
Yeah, coordinator or something.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does, thank you.
Okay.
The REMSCOs are gonna be tasked, the way I understand it, with basically organizing all this stuff too, so all the regional councils are gonna have, regional councils are gonna have a lot of work to do.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
We have one enforcement action. That was from Buffalo. Nothing really great on that.
You'll get a copy in
Treasurer's report.
REMSCO savings, opening balance $4,156.02 with a deposit of 12 cents, for a balance of $4,156.14. Operating account, I had a incorrect number last month, the actual opening balance and closing balance, which I've got to figure out where I was a few cents off. $4,006.83 with expenditures of $989.82 for a closing balance of $3,017.01. Our CON account remains at $21,016.03.
Any discussion, questions? Motion?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Regional program update, Tim.
Good morning, everyone. Just a few things. There's going to be an introductory call for the education and recruitment and retention committees. So everybody that's on those should have received an invite. It's going to be a week from today, Thursday, January 22nd at 9 a.m. If you're on the committee and you have not got an invitation to that, let me know. I'll get one out. Health Commerce Access. I'm still waiting for the state regarding Otsego County. DOH needs to add them into the system. They know that. I bugged them with that. But I have nothing else to report on that. I don't know if they've moved on it yet or not.
Us or the ambulance side?
The ambulance side.
Nothing to report from contracts. Just a reminder for everybody here, Aaron's EMS Awards reminder has been sent out. Nominations need to go to the man at the end of the table over there by April 1st, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shame on me for not knowing this better, but I read the state site, and it says that there's a portal for submission, because there's a
Yes.
portal for everything.
Yeah,
Everything.
once you get them back to, Tim submits them via a portal.
Oh,
However, that's the regional portal. Someone can also submit anyone
through the portal.
through the portal.
There's
But
a portal for
then,
a portal.
it's just kind of an independent and doesn't come through the REMSCO.
But that,
Yeah, I know.
so
We had some glitches with that last year, though.
I'm shocked.
Submittals to the portal without the program agency knowing it, or vice versa.
Right.
Too,
So that portal only submits to the state, because when you read it, it kind of says that it'll go to your region, but it doesn't.
It may this year after the glitches last year.
It should.
It should. We brought it up.
Oh, that seems clear. Okay. We need applicants. I have not gotten anything for anyone, so please write somebody up.
Next combined ARMS REMO REMAC meeting is Wednesday, February 11th. It's not the 4th, which is typically the REMAC date. I forgot what that specific conflict was, but it's the following Wednesday, the 11th. No training updates at the moment, but we are working on scheduling a EMT course, open to anyone if anyone's interested. Early planning stages now. I think we're looking for perhaps an early May start, but once we have everything together, I'll send out a notice. The only other thing was the discipline action, Tom. I don't know if you want me to read that into the record, or?
Sure you can.
Roswell Sano, Buffalo, New York State EMT number 463218, had their certification suspended for 1 year effective 1/8/26. They were assessed a civil penalty of $2,000 for violations of Part 800.15B1. And that concludes my report. Well, the other note that Beth put on here, I'm sure you guys have been dying to know this, the Bureau of EMS is now called the Division of EMS. Okay. Until they change it.
Training.
I don't know of anything that has come across me. Do you have anything new on training? I've been logging to the town hall there.
I was gonna say, I mean, nothing new. One small thing, I guess, new, it'll be coming out shortly. We teamed up with our mental health services on campus and offered a mental health first aid class. And I know a lot of these, like, you're really not feeling like you're pulling much out of it. But it's a 8-hour, 7-hour instruction day. And it was actually really good. It gave you like tangible things to do on a call. So we're probably gonna partner, we're definitely gonna partner with them and run one in May that'll be open to the public. I just have to see what the break-even cost number is for us, but they have some grant money for it too, so it should be relatively cheap for the day. And it comes with, 7-something hours of CME on top of it. It's classroom stuff, it's in person, but it was good. As with, if you're in EMS, you know how this works. You do the lab for OB/GYN tonight and then you deliver a baby tomorrow. Literally, I did the course on Tuesday, and then on that Friday, I went to a call with a lady who called 911 because Elon Musk was controlling her through her microwave. So I got to apply some of the stuff that I learned on Tuesday rather quickly on Friday, and I'll be damned if it didn't work really, really well. It was one of those things where it was a law enforcement call to check the welfare. They were on scene for an hour, nothing got moved. BLS crew shows up, they couldn't get anything done. I show up, I'm like, oh, let's try this stuff. And we tried the stuff, and the next thing she goes, like, okay. And she starts, like, I just need to get a bag together, and she starts walking out of the house. And the last time EMS was there, it was like ketamine, restraints, blah, blah, etc. So I think it was kind of cool. So if anybody's interested, the flyer will be out. If you know anyone who's interested at all in paramedic for the fall, please have them get a hold of me sooner rather than later. It's a wonderful problem, but it's a problem nonetheless. We've got 70-something applicants already, and it's only January. So.
Guess you need to do a bigger class.
So we're trying to. I'm trying to get permission from the college to expand our Cobble Skills site for another 10 students, which would bring us up to 45, but I don't want to reduce quality for quantity. And I know Ryan's push is, 25% more paramedics in all these, and that's all fine and good, but he's not paying the bills either. And so, I don't want to mess up what we have. And we are looking at the potential of another 15-student lab at a separate county, but I don't know if that's gonna happen either. I hope it does, it's needed, but I don't know if it's gonna happen. So, you say add more, and I know everybody said add more, take more, but we're looking at potentially going from 35 students to 60 without any increase in regular staff. So, right, yeah, that.
Yeah.
So we're trying. It's just, I don't want to mess this up. I know we are by no means perfect. We make mistakes left and right. But I know that the overall quality of what's coming out is good. I don't want to mess that up. So that's kind of where we're at. Along similar lines, we hosted the paramedic program director workshop on Monday, and State EMS has now revived this, and it's actually really nice. They spend a full day doing instructor level, administrative even, instructor level discussion stuff about how courses are running. We're literally sharing stuff across each other's courses, and it's in person, and we had 15 of the 22 paramedic programs actually attend. So I gotta give kudos to Drew Chesney. The other thing that I think I can say, and I don't know if it's so much education, and it's a State EMS reportable thing, but they're not here, so I'll say it, is the state exams shortly should be, like, within a few months, should be in a way better position than they've been in years. Again, Drew Chesney has been nothing short of miraculous in pulling people together and changing how things got done. I can genuinely say, having worked on the committee, that the questions like the Thomas Halfring questions and the 25 pounds of pressure questions for your battles should not be on the exams anymore. And you should actually find relevant exams that are rubriced and mapped better. Like, they're the best that I've seen them, and I've been part of the process for about 20 years now. And it's because Drew really has pulled together more people to write and restructured it so that the group that used to be writing and putting the exam together is now just vetting an exam. So you have more people writing questions, so you get better questions coming in, it's different content areas. PSI has been great. So Drew just put out a notice to us that the state exams, because they certify certain number of exams to actually go out and be used, should be updated sometime in the next few months here. So I'm excited. I kind of want to go take a rapid refresher just so I can see the test. Because everybody's like, oh, well, you're on the committee. You know, no, we get like thousands of questions. I can't remember what's on the test or not. So, but yeah, so it's goobery, nerdy, exciting because we all know that it has not been where it needs to be. So we'll see what happens. It for me.
So along those lines, is there any thought process, resolution, possible resolution to SUNY Cobleskill becoming part of this Reconnect program? Talks about it?
Not that I know of. I also don't know that I don't know that I would support us being part of it. So I know there's a lot of people that are fighting to include, all right, so backstory, SUNY Reconnect, if you're within a certain age range and go to a community college or a CUNY, they give you free, so last dollar money, free education for an associate's degree. They forgot that there's some associate's degree programs that run it for your SUNY schools. So those SUNY schools are not included. So like SUNY Upstate, SUNY Cobleskill, neither of their paramedic programs that give associate's degrees are included in this. So the fight recently has been trying to get those places included. However, all of the community colleges are walk on, have the money or the funding, get the spot. So literally just coming out of this program director meeting on Monday, you've got community colleges who had failing enrollment numbers that are now flush because Joe Q Public turned around and went, whoa, I can go be a paramedic for free. And now they've occupied the spots in a program, which is great because the college will get enrolled numbers. It's not great because when your EMT who works for you wants to go be a paramedic, there may not be room in the paramedic program anymore because somebody from the public has occupied that spot. Follow me? Because there's only so many spots. So like we have an associate's degree and a certificate, but they overlap, right? So the associate's degree is a year of EMT and some other courses, and then the paramedic year. So if they come in and we get 35 people in the paramedic associate's degree this year who don't have EMT and just go, hey, if it's free, it's for me, those 35 people have spots in the paramedic year until they drop out or fail. So you may actually clog. What was that?
Why can you not restrict that?
So because you've paid the money to get into a program and you're paying the college to go, yes, this is what I take, this is what you're telling me it's going to take, and yes, I'm paying. So they essentially reserve a spot. Because imagine on the other side, like somebody signs up and they're paying your own money for a 2-year associate's degree program, and at the end of the first year, they're like, yeah, so we're going to give your spot to somebody else who wasn't been in for the last year.
I was on the other side. I paid $40,000 a year for my daughter to put in an application to a college and go to school. If she got accepted, great. So I don't understand the concept why that would be, or it could not be any different.
Because the community colleges run a little bit differently than, and still have county control. So, you know, it's why I'm lucky I get to interview students. So if I meet somebody who can't spell EMT, let alone say it or be it, I usually kindly guide them towards maybe doing something different for a little while and then revisiting paramedic. But I told Ryan, because Ryan was one of the ones who approached me first of all. He's like, oh, we gotta fix this for you, your numbers are gonna hurt. I'm like, they're not, and they haven't. We still have a good reputation. Like I said, we have 70-something applicants for the fall. But you know, it's the whole thing about throwing money at a problem without guidance as to how to actually address the underlying issue. And now general consensus is that these folks now have no skin in the game. So you're gonna see huge wash rates on these, and they're just gonna create more work and overload paramedic programs that are already short-staffed at colleges that don't understand EMS. And I think in the end, this was a nice thought that's gonna hurt, because it'll amp numbers up, and one of the worst things that could possibly happen is as it runs for a few years, you'll drive enrollment up so that your associate's degree programs at community colleges are flush. And you're like, oh, we're turning people away, and some college administrator somewhere will be like, wow, we need to hire more people. Now you hire more people, you build this program and realize that you have a 50 to 60% fail rate, and 5, 10 years from now, you've bought the full-time employee, and now you don't have the enrollment for it. I'm concerned about it, I really am. If it happens, we'll find a way to make it work. But, you know, I said to our college admin, if we get into this and get the influx of people who want associates for free, we almost have to think about doing a second section of paramedic, because otherwise those students, and where are you gonna find the instructors and staff to run that? Those students in the associate's degree own that spot in the second year until they don't meet prereqs. Right. So, no, Tom, I don't know. I know people are talking about it, I know people are championing it, but nobody's talked to me about it, so.
I do know that the Reconnect program was discussed in the state of the state. There was some discussion that there may be freeing up of funds for people who already have a degree that may want to go back.
Right, so I know this is the opposite of what was discussed at the SUNY Chancellor's healthcare task force that I sat on, because they were talking about money and where to place it, and I had said straight out in that 80-something person group, instead of giving people scholarships, do tuition reimbursement. Turn around and say, because the chancellors asked, which was a good question, was with SUNY being the largest public university system in the world, why does New York State have a healthcare provider shortage? Great question to ask. So, you know, I pitched that I think we could do something where if they went and spent their own money, got loans, whatever, and went to school, however many semesters you are in a program that is going to result in certification, licensure, etc., and then work in New York State, that equivalent amount of time, you pay up on your loan, you keep your loan in good standing, we'll pay your loan off. And that goes straight up through MD. So you want to be an EMT, it's a 1-semester class. Great. Come to school for 6 months, work as an EMT in New York State full-time for 6 months, turn the proof in, whatever's left on your loans, we pay off. You want to go be an MD? I think you're crazy, but we need you. But go be an MD, but be an MD or a DO, do it through a SUNY school, do your 6 years, do your 6 years after, your loan's in good shape, thank you for your service. And I think it'd be a great way to do this, because then the students have skin in the game and New York State gets something out of it. And it got some traction, but it got some traction at the Chancellor's office, and that's where it kind of died. So it's easier to simply throw this money out there and say, if you want to go to a SUNY, it's free. It also generates revenue for the state through the SUNYs, as opposed to the other way around. So I understand where we're at, but yeah, I'm a little concerned, honestly. You know, literally these paramedic programs that had tons and tons of room and didn't have the ability to recruit are now like flushed solid, and I think it's false inflation of numbers. And Ryan was talking about how this is gonna be great, whereas have so many more EMS providers, and I said to him, I said, look, Ryan, it's the same thing as your EMS Academy courses. Like, yes, people became certified. How many of them are actually working? So I don't know where this is gonna go. I'm a little concerned with it, honestly. And we're okay. So right now, I'm personally not pushing for this.
I get the whole taking someone off the street, and I get not having the room in the certificate program for in year two. I really do. Me having a much different perspective now that I'm in a different agency, and I'm sure AMR and a lot of these places are the same way, right? Is if you have somebody that is employed and you're going to send them to paramedic school, and now you have the ability to do it for free, and on
Yep.
top of that, give them an associate's degree.
Yep.
That's a huge recruiting and retention tool.
Yep.
For us as
No-brainer.
as an agency. Right, I mean, we're investing in that employee, not just for the paramedic portion of it, right? But now they're getting some form of other education in which would better prepare them to move up in their career.
I completely get it.
So, I mean, I think that there's ways.
Yep.
And I think that we all need to come together to communicate that and see what the best way is.
Like I said, I wouldn't necessarily be against being part of it, but, because I do understand, especially as places are really starting to pay for their employees to go. But there's no clean solution to it, and the state EMS office doesn't want any part in trying to straighten that out at this point. I've asked. So I actually had conversation with the first deputy commissioner of health about it. And even he had turned around and was like, look, this is a legislative problem, so the fix on this is legislation. So we all know how long that takes. So I don't see that there's much that we can do about this for probably a considerable amount of time right now. So we're just trying to figure out as college, as a program, can we sustain, how do we sustain, and if we can't, you know, this could be a credible threat to us. You know, you could take one of the better paramedic programs in the state and just, free education's free education, right? But I can tell you at least so far, because it's been up and running for at least a year, our enrollment has not hurt because of it.
Have you experienced the scenario that you proposed, that you got people who are taking seats because of this?
Not at our college, because we don't qualify
Right,
for it.
okay.
I don't want to speak for other programs, but I know it exists.
Okay.
Howard, does Colesville have a nursing program?
No.
I only asked that because, and I forget who I was talking to, but it apparently was brought up to FM about having an EMT class that college students can attend, and their big thing was, no, because it's gonna hurt our nursing program.
Well, so, I mean, we did it years ago. When Mark Hitchcock left, and then FM's training center kind of fizzled, Diana Putnam, who used to be the dean of like academics over at FM, had reached out and said, hey, can you help? And we ran EMT classes at FM for,
3 semesters at least.
I was gonna say, I think it was 2 years, and after 2 years, we were completely upside down. The community out here just didn't support it, because the EMS community didn't wanna go to FM. That was just the answer. And, you know, we were completely upside down budget-wise on it. We committed to try it for a year and see what happens. And then I think we were running a class of like 5 people, and it just didn't fly, so we stopped. But, you know, EMT's not gonna threaten nursing.
Well, I know that.
And it's funny because Cobleskill has looked at nursing programs along the way, but whenever somebody asks me from the college side about nursing at Cobleskill, I tell them, look around. There's a ton of nursing schools. So, like, you know, you're getting into a Hartwick, Delhi, Binghamton, and then all the Albany ones, FM. Like, there's dozens. So, you know, you're getting into a saturated market, and if you're doing that, you're doing it in a program that's instructor heavy, equipment heavy, and space limitations that, you know, you're not gonna use that nursing lab for paramedic also, or for histo. It's gonna be a nursing lab. So, and you're not gonna use your nursing instructor to teach something else on campus either, so it's very, very limited in what it is. So I think from what I've seen, the direction that Cobleskill has gone is they've kind of partnered with Maria to try and help them with some of their LPN stuff right now as kind of a bridge to assist Bassett with some hires, but I'm clear out of that also, so. But no, we don't have nursing. So, yeah, I don't know.
Thanks. You don't have anything for transportation?
Nothing, no.
Bylaw committee,
Maggie and I still need to meet to go over the bylaws. I need a clarification, who is on the awards committee? I don't seem to have that written down anywhere,
Same group as last year, I think, and anybody else who wants.
so.
So there's
Tara.
Maggie, Tara, me.
Thank you. I thought so, but I just had no notes anywhere. Thank you. For reductions of lights and sirens, one of the Albany Medical Center fellows is taking on, kind of that as one of his fellowship projects. So you may be hearing from, Dr. AJ Halstein, how do we say it, Tim? Okay. You may hear from him. He's looking to gather policies and look at what agencies have written for their response policies. You see if there's actual verbiage around reduction of lights and sirens.
state council meeting,
February 25th is our next meeting.
reenact and kind of address
February 11th is the next meeting.
county reports, Hamilton.
Our EMS, we have 4 students registered, started March, and probably 2 more.
That's the speculator?
Yes.
Fulton,
Nothing.
Montgomery has got nothing that I can think of. Harry, Seagull,
We still have our 2 courses in Cooperstown, AMT and basic running that ended April.
and Delaware.
Alex isn't here to answer 2 of our old business questions, so we can't cover that, carry it till next month.
Also, under old business, we are still in need of at least a secretary for this council. We are continuing to work on the treasurer side of things, but we really need a secretary.
So, let's go to new business, maybe that'll help.
Yeah.
A couple of things. Let's start off. New business. Beth has been elected as the chair of the REMSCO, hence one of the reasons why these positions are kind of open. Obviously, that's a big job. So it's an important job. It's important, I think, and brings a lot of help to this particular region in council by having her in that seat. So I need a couple of things, I guess, to start off. Number one is the state has changed their procedure, and we used to wait until seats timed out or whatever else to make appointments or re-up positions. So I'm asking asking for a motion to, we have to do it every 2 years now. I'm asking for a motion to have Beth remain as the ERMS rep for the next 2 years. So if I could have that.
So moved.
Any discussion? All in favor?
So the term is 4 2-year terms, and supposedly you're supposed to get revetted every 2 years. So I have to be revetted even though I'm only like 2/3 of the way through. This will be the first time they've ever said I need to be revetted. But they, it's going to be a very interesting year because the council of 32 people, there will be 14 new faces throughout the year.
Beth, can you, just for the room, explain what vetting is and how it happens? Or Tom? Oh, cool, all right.
Vetting makes sure that you don't owe taxes and don't have a criminal record while serving on a governor's council.
It's basically like a background check, but the time to vet somebody is considerable.
Yeah, because my first, more than that, my first 2-year term, we put my name forward and they started the vetting process. I was vetted 23 months into my first 24 months.
Right.
My first 2-year term, I had 1 month on the term.
And just to, it's where it falls in the food chain. That's what the explanation came to. It's the same with myself and the same with FASD with our rotation. And that's what we were told. They looked into it, and it's where you fall on the importance of your function.
Which is ironic too, because alternates cannot vote on statutory votes
Because they're not
vetted.
Right.
But we have unvetted people sitting as appointees for these positions. Or do they have to be vetted first? So if we turn around,
They have to be vetted. However, if you appoint somebody, for instance, when Beth took over for me, she wasn't appointed technically. I was still the rep until she becomes vetted.
And he stayed in the seat.
Gotcha.
And just for example, in Remo, Steve Kroll is like 14 years in,
right?
or some crazy number like that.
Yeah.
How long did it take to vet Steve's replacement?
A number of years. They
Like-
finally did it with Steve Meehan, but I don't know when he takes that seat, but it took years and years.
I was
That
notified
action.
yesterday that he will be taking that
That's
seat.
crazy. If for no other reason, they should look at vetting alternates at least.
It shouldn't have to take this long. It's a
Even if
fitness
it did, just
competency
at least
basically.
vet the alternates so that if the primary leaves, you have somebody else who can step in.
Yeah, we gotta read the bylaws of the
This
state
is the
council.
crazy
And
part.
that's where,
Alternates,
that's
when we
where
vote in
it
committee
lies.
meetings, they can't vote in the council meeting, which should, to me, should be completely the opposite,
Right.
right? And, you know, and I don't know, I still do them, even though I'm an alternate. We still
You
have to
have
do the
to-
financial disclosure reports annually.
Right.
I mean, we have a whole bunch of different things that you have to,
Yeah.
you have to submit to.
You have
the
to do your
state.
ethics training, you have
Ethics
to do
training.
your financial disclosure, you have to, vetting for me was a very passive process.
Mhm.
I had to sign one piece of paper to allow them to look at my tax records. And other than that, the police check and everything else was, I did
Is
nothing.
this something worth bringing up to the REMSCO chair?
It's on my list.
Yeah.
Well, once she gets vetted in 2 years.
No, she's
I'm vetted.
already
So
vetted.
I'm
you're
already vetted.
So you don't have to be re-vetted for a different appointment.
No,
No, she just has to be re-upped by this council every 2 years to stay.
stay in it for my 8-year
Gotcha.
length.
Not every 2 years they're gonna re-vet you.
Yes, they're gonna make sure I haven't become a criminal or something in those 2 years.
Have them call
Okay, we'll do.
Criminal check.
me. Yeah.
So with that being said, there are a couple of changes, and we would like to propose. Number one is, the hotel that here has changed their policies and procedures and can no longer invoice us for things like breakfast and or lunch or whatever else. It all has to be paid for via a credit card. with that being said, Mark has been kind enough to offer a building that is about 6 blocks closer to most of us, down the road, in which we can host our meetings for. So that would be proposal number 1, unless somebody really says, hey, we want to have a credit card and we want to have our bagels and breakfast, or we can decide we're going to bring our own coffee and donut from Dunkin' Donuts before we make the left-hand turn.
So what's the address then?
Yeah.
231 North Perry. The room is smaller than this, but bigger than the other room we use here. It should fit this group fairly well.
It fit a fairly, I mean, I've been there, we did a couple public hearings there, I think we will fit.
Parking right now is, you can still park. We're in the process of building the building in the back, so we had to move all our trailers next to our building, so it's a little rough right now, but within the next month or two, the building will be done, so those trailers will be out, so they shouldn't have no problem with parking.
So that's proposal number 1. Anyone have any thoughts?
Sounds great.
Concerns? If not, I'll take a motion to move our meeting location.
Via Zoom.
Hours.
Via Zoom.
Yes.
We can't by law right now.
If we have a, if we designate a site, usually if it's a designated site.
Yes. It's a designated site.
Yes, so we could have more than one site.
We can have more than one site, but if you read the letter of the law, it's meant to be used infrequently and if someone has some sort of situation. So that's another piece of that law, but I think we're kind of making it work with designated sites.
I'll probably get something thrown at me, but is there not a more centralized location that we can meet?
So believe it or not, this is central, and central may shift now that Carl Turner can't attend. Because if you look at Dave living in Walton, he is 190 miles round trip. Carl Turner coming from Long Lake was 185 miles, so this was central.
For one member.
So with Carl no longer participating, I think Speculator becomes our northern point. Am I correct? And we may be able to find a better center.
It doesn't need to be at the college, but if anybody ever wants to use the college, if you guys want, let me know, I'll ask. I'm sure they give it to us for free.
With food.
They won't give us food for free, but they'll give us food. Like if you want to do food, we've done that before.
We did a meeting there.
Yeah, we had a couple.
Yeah.
Right?
What's your question?
How far is Colbus? Not us, because I know how far it is for this road.
Well, Speculator, I mean, if you're coming from Speculator to Clovis for all of an hour.
I think we looked at this years ago too, when,
Speculator to
Nobody
Cobble
asked you, I
Skills, like
said
Walden
not you, I
to
said
here.
not this
Too many
road.
people.
Yeah, it's a haul for some. So for years, many of us who sat on this council for many years, we used to have it at St. Mary's Hospital. Yes, we did. In Amsterdam.
I don't know if Montgomery County would offer their EOC, but they got a room that might even be bigger than ours. I mean, you'd have to talk to them. Montgomery County. Might be a little bit farther down the road.
Top to bottom, it's 2 hours and 46 minutes.
I think when Mark was chair, Mark and Phil had a conversation with me, and they had looked at middle differently. They looked at middle almost like you'd look at system status points. It's like, where's the bulk of your people coming from, as opposed to what's equal for everyone. So like if you're having one person drive, 2 hours, but you have 20 people that are driving an hour 45 and you reduce that to 45, I don't care. You pick where. My bigger thing is if we get this down to less meetings in a year, that'd be fantastic.
Still gotta bring that up. Don't jump ahead.
So
Lay in the seat.
let's plan on this. The next meeting, I have no problem working and asking Montgomery County, because it's there, it's off the thruway, it's close. I think there'll be some logistical things to make sure that they don't have training on certain days
Right.
and whatnot, and they may have to move some things around. But I have no problem with working with Montgomery County in regards to that. It is a much larger room. Really, that's really what it brings, is a larger room, the technologies in both places, so.
So we have a motion on the floor unless he wants to withdraw his motion. Howard?
Is the motion to move it there permanently or for the next meeting?
So,
We don't need to move it for the next meeting.
yeah, for the next meeting, we could just move to Fulton County EOC.
Where are we going? What was the, where's Montgomery, that's Fultonville?
But we need to make an inquiry
No,
into
we
that.
have to, that's nothing, right? So, Howard, do you want to withdraw your motion?
Sure, just did.
Okay, perfect.
Have it
So
help.
the next meeting is going to be at Fulton County EOC, 231.
Okay, 10 o'clock on,
It's not anything. It's fine. It's fine.
All right. Now, to Howard's point.
Now it's my point.
Is frequency of meetings. Obviously, we currently meet once a month. There are months that we have things to do and talk about, and then there are months that we've got nothing.
Just make it simple, every other month.
So Schoharie County Fires guys does it on odds minus the summer. We just switched our EMS council to odds minus the summer, so you're at 5 meetings a year.
Yeah, that's what we do.
So one of the things that we had thought about was February, April, June. Skip July and August, September, October, December.
Around December, you have the holidays coming up, and same thing with November,
so we could do,
unless you want to shift off.
we
from
can't
the
go
fourth
from
Thursday.
I think December is
October
worse,
to,
though.
I mean,
So-
October to February would be a really long stretch.
Earlier in
So
the-
I'll just pitch this out here. I'm gonna take his schedule and make that motion, and if we need to cancel July, we cancel July.
So it
By the
is,
same token, we also have to have the ability, should we get a CON action or whatever else, to call a meeting.
Which we have already, right? Because you can call a meeting whenever you want to call a meeting.
Right, because we're on a timeline once we get a CON
Right.
action.
And if we have to do that, we have to do that. But that at least is just putting together a council for a vote. That's easy, and that's a quick meeting.
so it's January, March, May, we skip July, then the other, not September, November.
So you want odd or even?
Odd.
State councils are February, May, September, December.
Which is why I think odd makes more sense. Because you're odd. I am. I mean, pot kettle have we met, but sure.
So the proposal's for odd. The motion is for odd. Second?
When are our elections?
Isn't it
A
January?
little quick there.
I'm not hesitant.
You should do first and second, then discussion.
I could have sworn it was January. I couldn't totally.
January, no, elections are in June.
See, too many hats.
Yeah,
That's the other-
our
that's the
election.
other
The
one.
annual meeting of the regional council shall be in June and shall include the election of officers for the following year. Newly elected officers will assume office in September.
So you change the bylaws.
That's why we have a bylaws committee.
Exactly.
We'd have to move nominations up. And change the meeting date, the annual meeting date.
To May.
So are we looking at 6 meetings a year then on the odd months?
Correct.
That's the proposal that,
5 meetings.
5 taking out July,
Okay,
unless we get a
so we're gonna go
CON
from May
action.
to October then?
May to September. because October's an even month.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
So
September,
January,
yeah.
March, May would become the annual meeting. September, December. Howard made the motion. Who seconded it? Okay.
September, November.
September.
November.
November.
Yeah. That's what I was.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? This does not change next month's meeting. That's the only discussion.
Well,
Well,
it could, actually,
Right.
Include that as part of your motion.
What's that?
Yes.
so I am out of town next month's meeting,
Great.
So then our next meeting would be April.
March.
Scribbles on
Yeah,
this
that's,
paper.
that's kidding.
Why can't we run a meeting without you?
That's,
Why do we need one?
Oh, why do we need a meeting, period? There you go.
So it would be March 19th
To be determined.
at the Fulton County EOC, is that the right term?
Yep.
At 231 North Perry Street,
At
Johnstown.
an address to be determined and distributed by the region.
What?
At an address to be determined by the region and distributed via email.
Blue bunch of paper right there in front of you that no longer is gonna
You can
exist.
hold on to
Alright.
Stewart's if you want.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Best
Anybody else
Give it a
have
chance.
any other new business?
So now we can report the secretary.
Oh,
piece.
that's
Now
right.
We're now five.
So with that being said, now we're only at 5 meetings.
Such a shame.
Do we have anybody that would like to volunteer to be the secretary for those 5 meetings?
Not so quick with your hand now, huh?
No, I thought you were.
No. I mean,
I
look,
thought you said this
I
was gonna
offer-
resolve that issue.
Well, I said it would help. Look, I'll take minutes if people want that, but I can't hold secretary. I just have too much else stuff going on. And if we really do expand to 60 students from 35, like, I'm gonna be toast. But I can bring a laptop and do the minutes while I'm sitting here.
So we have a motion that Howard will take the minutes for the meeting.
I will
I'll move
second
that.
it.
Who first did it? You did it.
All in favor?
But he will not be the secretary?
Aye. What's that?
So he's gonna take the minutes but not be the secretary?
Well, we'll worry about that.
Wait a minute.
We'll ease him in.
Do we have a job description for the secretary yet?
Yeah, we sure do.
Now you're asking too many
We'll get it
questions.
to you.
Yeah.
Now that you're appointed, we'll get it.
Yeah.
We'll get it to you minutes.
Look, you put me down as secretary. If it's too much, I'll just quit. I hate to do it that way, but if that's what we need, put it down. What the hell?
All in favor?
Aye.
Right.
Anybody against?
Yeah, aye.
Just me? Great. Thank you, Howard.
We will
Yeah.
keep you
Thanks for being
appraised
a team player.
of the treasurer's spot. Anyone else have any other new business?
The other thing I just want to mention during the governor's presentation on Monday was the establishing the, hang on here, let me find it, the first responders behavioral health needs going along. You mentioned down there with your program that we're going to have, it's going to be established a first responder behavioral health center of excellence to serve as a statewide training and technical assistant hub so departments of all sizes can develop peer support programs. I guess there was a study done by Homeland Security and SUNY New Pulse. And it's at the end of that program they did down there last year. This whole thing came out. I guess there's a few $1 million that are thrown at that in the governor's budget. That was mentioned in for delivery on Monday. So FYI.
Motion to adjourn.
Yes.
Second?
Huh?